Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And no, I'm not wearing Georgie because I'm going to be a brat. I'm cold and it's Christmassy, and I'm still going to finish reacting to the other Fab Fatties episode, but at some point anyway. But I want to do this for Christmas because I get to have a Christmas present too. Angelica provided, and so did Jasmine. This is a moment. This is a moment for me. I was happy, and it was hilarious because I just love this. I love it. I have to say I love Angelica, so I'm biased going into this, but I love you, Angelica, for providing the tea, the drama, everything I needed this Christmas. I needed this.
Hey guys, what is up? My name is Jasmine. Welcome back to my channel. This morning I was scrolling through the YouTubes as one does when I came across a thumbnail that had my face in it, and it was from another content creator who goes by the name of Angelica Unfiltered here on YouTube, and she is a reaction channel. Specifically, she does reaction content.
She's a queen. She's a good activist. So I love her. She's a great activist. I am an activist too. Angelica's a really good one. She's good.
Like fat activist type of content, and she has actually been gaining a lot of popularity here recently. I've noticed she actually has commented on my channel a few times in the past, and so I do recognize her, and I do get recommended a lot of her videos, and I've watched a few of them, and I've noticed that she recently hit 20,000 subscribers, which congrats to you, Angelica. That's awesome, and I know that that's not easy to do. That being said, yeah, she did a reaction to a short form video I posted the other day, kind of talking about my opinion on fat activist reaction channels, and so of course I watched the video already, you guys, and I do have thoughts, and I'm gonna be getting into those, so I thought I would do a reaction to this reaction of me and share it with you guys. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it though.
I can't get over these fucking hats. Sorry for the crazy angle, but I literally have to film like this if I want to get the whole headpiece in frame, okay? I'm not trying to flex my jawline on you guys, but if I happen to, I'm sorry. Anyway, my name is Angelica. This is the Angelica Unfiltered channel where I talk about stuff and things that I'm scared to say because I don't want to be demonized. Or demonetized, if demonized is a girl world thing. Sorry if you don't participate in that. You probably won't get a lot of my jokes. Today I wanted to react to this YouTube
I did get that joke, by the way. I just wanted to say, yeah, I got that joke.
Short that my fellow mean girlfriend sent me. I won't name names, but it's from
Honey Bison. I do love Honey Bison as well. Honey Bison is good. In my opinion, she's a good fitness influencer. I consider her a fitness influencer. She's good. I think she's a great example of hinge recovery. Love it. We love to see somebody who actually recovered. I'm just saying, you don't see a lot of it. And so I really love it. And I think especially Melina's calm when she talks about it. I admire her calm. She's Miss Libra. I'm pretty sure she's a Libra. I am not a Libra at all. I do admire Libra energy because it's very calm and balanced. But her calm is evidence of being out of the issue. So she's a good example of somebody who has recovered.
A creator named Jasmine who I actually subscribe to on YouTube. I'm sure she posts these shorts on other social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Because everyone usually cross posts onto
I will say I do not have Instagram, so yeah, I post my TikToks on YouTube Shorts.
Very different social media platform. Before we get into this video, I just want to say that I am not sending this creator any hate. I do not condone going to her comment section and leaving anything mean or harmful. I genuinely want the best for this creator. I know that she's on a weight loss journey. I hope she is successful. I want her to continue to slay and lose weight. But I'm just sharing my own opinion and critiquing what she has to say because that's my human right. As an American, I have the freedom of speech, and YouTube has given me this platform to use that freedom of speech. I just wanted to share my opinion because this whole channel is about sharing my opinion, and I'm posting every day until Christmas for...
Yes, Angelica did some good disclaimers there. I'll give a little bit activist critique as we go along, just because I'm auntie. I'm old. I'm older than both of them, so I get to be auntie. I'm not that much older than them, but I am older. So I'm your elder. You will respect me. No, I'm just kidding. But again, I think Angelica's really good. So the disclaimer thing, it can totally work. I don't really do it because I'm just cutthroat bitch. I don't know what else to say. Like, we're here to go for it. And I'm just kidding. But no, I do think it can work to disclaim. I do sometimes. And I understand why she's doing it here, because you need to try to understand that, like, she's trying to let her audience know Jasmine is not her enemy, which is important to do when you are talking about this kind of stuff. It's important when you lead a channel. So again, I do think Angelica's a good activist. I really do. You can tell too, because she's gotten a lot of pushback, even from like higher up things, like freaking Aubrey. So
Reactmas, and I need things to talk about. Before we get into it, today, jewelry of the day, I'm wearing the Cosmic Candy necklace. This is available in silver and gold, and it's almost sold out.
So to my knowledge, Jasmine is not an activist. So I will just be giving a little bit of YouTube critique, just a little bit. Not like tons and tons, but yeah. I do think she made a couple mistakes with this, and I just want to point them out just so that she has less issue. That's just my opinion. It's just Auntie's opinion. It's nothing you have to listen to. Again, I don't even listen to it all the time. I will fight with people, period. I fight with my audience sometimes if I feel like it. And if I have to, then I will. So again, it's not the path for everybody. I get that, but if you want less problems, I know what to do. I just don't do it because I'm a bitch, basically. And also, I'm an activist, so I don't do these things for approval. But yeah, I would know how to be approved. I do. I just choose not to. So, because I tend to try to make a point, or I tend to try to shift the conversation or do things. Yeah. So that's just my style. That's not everybody's style. I'm just letting people know.
So if you were...
I do want to say I have seen her kind of promote her jewelry business in some of her videos, and I do really like her jewelry. I think she has really pretty jewelry.
Eyeing it, you might want to pick it up soon. And then for earrings, I'm wearing these Estrella Moonstone Huggy Hoops, which are also available in silver and gold. You know, it kind of gives like a little whimsical, snowy vibe. You know, trying to be in the Christmas spirit. If you're interested, you can pick up these pieces or anything else from my small business called Rebirth Jewelry, and you can use code MAGIC to save 15% off your first order. But let's get into this clip. On the screen it says hot take on fat activist reaction channels.
I'll start off by saying I'm not a fat activist. I do not identify with that side of the internet in any way, shape, or form, just to make that clear. And I do understand how having a strong opinion or a hot take on a subject is good for engagement and the algorithms and what have you.
I'm not sure about what she posted on her other social media platforms, but Jasmine Flowers here. Hold on, I'll pull up her channel. This was posted one day ago, 30th birthday glow up, the truth about my November weight gain after coming off a GLP-1, weekly weigh-in, massive grocery haul.
I just want to say, I don't know why, but like watching this part of the video did make me cringe a little bit. It's just kind of weird to see like my face so much on one page in all the videos I've posted. And I mean, granted, I'm the one that has created this, and obviously I'm like trying to.
It's a good thing. It means you're making it. That's show business. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean to be cheesy, but it's a good thing. It's really good. It means you're glowing up on YouTube. It means that you're breaking through, and I'm honestly happy for you. I am. I'm happy for anybody who's finding success at YouTube. You know, I am a YouTuber as well, obviously, so it's a good thing. I know it can be cringe, but it's really good. It's a good thing.
Be a content creator, but I don't know why it still just feels cringy to me. Like,
and 30 hard truths I learned about weight loss at 30, weekly weigh-in. I gained weight this month.
Let it happen. Let the success happen. It's good. Oops. Messed that up. Okay.
more grocery hauls, the hard truth about weight loss plateaus, I quit my GLP-1 and now I can't stop gaining weight. I guess that just shows some perspective on what she'll be saying. Continue, miss.
One thing I cannot get behind, though, is all of these reaction channels that spout the most derogatory, hateful, sinister ideas about fat and obese, overweight individuals.
So those little words. Derogatory, cruel, I forgot what you said. I feel like, to be honest, most of the people that make anti-fat acceptance content are like really nice, and to be honest, did I already say to be honest, genuinely, actually, I feel like a lot of people that make this type of content online aren't really as mean as people make them out to be. I don't know.
I will agree with that. I made this little short video. I was not trying to say I thought this way about all anti-fat activist content creators. Obviously, there is a bunch of different ones, and I was specifically talking about a handful that I've come across that are not nice at all. And
so my biggest critique for you, Jasmine, is you needed to name names. So if you're going to say this, which it's okay to have an opinion, obviously, but when it comes to online and stuff like that, you have to be very specific. So if you're going to cut, you have to have a very sharp knife and you need to paint a picture. So if you would have named like 3 names, which I think she does name Alan Roberts, that can kind of explain, like that can paint one side of a picture. But if you had like a couple more, like if there were a couple other ones, then people would know what you're talking about. But if you make a blanket statement, then a lot of people take it personally, basically, which I don't know how personally Angelica took it, but Angelica is an anti-fat acceptance advocate, so she's going to take it somewhat personally. I also am too, so I also have to take it somewhat personally because it becomes a blanket statement, which it just means that it was an ineffective message, basically. You have to be specific when you critique, especially if you're, I don't know how else to say it, if you're not attacking the enemy, so to speak. Which again, she's not necessarily on any side, but regardless, yeah, it is what it is. It is an ideological battle within this sphere of the internet. It is very much so that way. And obviously, I'm sure Jasmine understands that, but I'm just saying when you make a blanket statement, then you're kind of bringing in that conflict to your channel, which you could do it. You even said like you can make a polarizing statement to get engagement and that kind of stuff. And it did work if that's what you wanted. But I do believe you criticized that later in the video, which that's, yeah. So let's see.
I'll be honest, Angelica was not even in that group of people I was thinking about. But yeah, I will agree, not all of them are mean.
Oh, maybe it's just because I am a cruel, cunty bitch, or maybe I just have really thick skin, so
yeah,
I'm not as sensitive.
Like I said, I've watched a few of her videos. I haven't watched all of them. I don't watch every single one. The ones I have seen, I definitely think she has very interesting sense of humor, and I mean, I honestly find her pretty funny in a lot of the stuff she says, and so yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I find her to be in this group of people per se, because I do think that there's a difference between having kind of a darker sense of humor and just outright being like a misogynistic asshole who hates fat people in general.
Sensitive as some other people, but some of the people...
Yeah, so I definitely... And Angelica gets a lot of comments that say that she's really mean. So you have to understand that too, Jasmine, like from the other side of it. Angelica has more viewership than both me or Jasmine. Jasmine and I, we're similar. We have a similar viewership. So she gets a lot of hate comments about how mean she is. So that's the thing too, is people hear that all the time. And so if you're saying it, then in her mind, it's like you're just another person in a chorus of people saying it. Which I understand that too. I get that a lot too, where they're like, you're so mean, da-da-da. I'm actually not that bad when it comes to fat activists. At least I don't ever really, it is extremely rare when I attack somebody's appearance. It is so rare because I'm just not that way. I'm just very ideological and psychological, and I'm on a different like level, I guess, when I'm talking about it. Like there have been times where like one of the Fab Fatties, which is they're like a group of fat activists, they had the most horrendous outfit on and I didn't even notice it because I wasn't paying attention. So I don't typically do that ever, but I will critique the mindsets. On this channel, we tend to talk a lot about the E followed by the letter D aspect, especially BINGE, which a lot of these people have that and they push that onto everybody else, which that is an aspect of having that problem, is you tend to externalize it and reinforce it in other people that have it, which is very tricky. It is not just an internal issue, but it is also a social issue. So it comes out and is reinforced socially. So it's important to address, in my opinion, people that are fat activists because they are pushing disordered mindsets onto the public. And it is a public safety hazard, honestly. And it's a cultural issue, which can only be fought with cultural battles and things like that, because food, more than it is systemic, it is cultural, which people don't think of it that way, but I try to bring that to attention when I'm on this channel, because I want people to understand that the government, it doesn't have nearly as much of an effect as our individual choices and our culture, and especially the culture, which again, we all individually make up the culture. So it's important to talk about obesity from a cultural perspective, because there are a lot of cultural issues that enable obesity or that reinforce it. One of the biggest ones that I found is what I call the toxic ritualistic, which is E followed by the letter D. They all reinforce it because it has to do with social comparison. So it has to do with people wanting other people to be bigger than them so they can compare and feel better about themselves, which that is very cold, but that is the reality of it. You have to think of E followed by the letter D, or the toxic ritualistic, which is what I'll call it the rest of the video. You have to think of it as on an emotional pitch, it's like a drowning rat. It's like somebody's desperate and they'll push other people underwater to stay afloat. That's basically what it's like emotionally. And that's what tends to happen. So recently I had to get very nasty with somebody who may be on the more reductive side of things. I don't know for sure, but they were acting like it. They were claiming that I was addicted to counting calories. I have to fight that very aggressively. And I have to show that it will not be tolerated. I have to set a very firm boundary. And as an activist, I have to show other people how to fight that. So I have to be very aggressive. And typically with people that are more reductive, they won't listen or hear it unless if you're very vicious. So it's tough. It's tough. And then I get to be, oh, I'm such a bitch, and da-da-da. Because you have to have boundaries. And it doesn't matter. I'm sure you understand, Jasmine. You know, I'm not a woman, but I'm extremely feminine. And if a feminine person or a woman or whatever, if you have a boundary, you're a bitch immediately. That is also a cultural issue that does put a lot of women and feminine people in general at risk of the toxic ritualistic, because how dare you have a boundary? And that does need to change in our culture. Absolutely.
People that make anti-fat acceptance content, they're still, do you want to say like fluffy, or like they're still very kind and they tiptoe around things and they're very polite, and there's like a spectrum when it comes to the anti-fat acceptance creators.
I agree.
It's
yes.
like people that are very soft, very fluffy, you know, don't want to step on anyone's toes, don't want to offend anyone. And then we have like the very, how do I want to describe this? Because I feel like I'm kind of on this end. The people on the other side of the spectrum are over it. They are not afraid to offend you. They are sick of walking on eggshells. They are not going to sugarcoat anything for you. Sometimes they do say fucked up things that are hilarious. They are more comical, but they exaggerate a lot. They use hyperbole. Some may say they're mean. I say that they're entertaining and just being real. So there's a spectrum. We have...
So I would consider myself right dead center of that spectrum, which is tricky. It's a tricky place to be. It's also terrible for branding. So I do think that part of... I think there's a lot of reasons why I've struggled to grow a little bit. Some of them are like technological. Some of them are just my personality is... No, I'm just kidding. Some of them, it's like I was really slow. I would talk slowly a lot because I was downsizing, so I didn't have energy. Honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but it does take a lot of energy to do it. And so I was just talking slow a lot. And then some of it has to do with I also was talking slow because I was speaking primarily to people within the issue. So a lot of it is geared directly towards anti-reinforcement. So it's geared towards people that have the problem first, which during these years where I've been downsizing, I talked really slowly because it's hard to listen to when you have this issue as well. So there's multiple reasons why I was talking slow, which that doesn't do very well for social media. But again, I use it for activistic purposes. So the actual like message or whatever is more important to me than the brand or than the numbers, basically. Because I think it's important, in my opinion. So, yeah. That's where I sit, which, like I said, it's tricky. And there are times where I'm really gentle, and then there are times when I'm harsh, and I have to go back and forth, and that's tricky. So, if you were looking to brand, if you're looking for like a branding bestie, I would tell you to choose a side for sure. Because it's easier if you choose a side.
Nice and sweet, and we have first they're sour, then they're sweet. Okay, and you can decide who goes on what side of the spectrum. But I have my own opinions. And like when I first started getting into anti-fat acceptance content, like I thought the people all the way over here they were horrible and they were mean.
Yeah. I think like Honey Bison is actually less mean than Angelica, but I don't think Angelica is the meanest. But she's definitely on that side. She is funny, though. Like, I was dying when I watched one of her newest ones. I can't think of her name. I think Jamie. She's reacting to Jamie. I was at the gym, and, like, I was lifting weights, and it was a hazard. Because I was laughing while I was trying to lift the weights. And I was like, oh, my freaking God, Angelica. I just couldn't. But, I mean, it works, too, because it's also entertaining. And in activism, you have to make it entertaining. It's really hard. So she's really good. I just keep saying it. She's good. I have to say she is.
But and then I watched a lot of people that were like the sweet, soft-spoken ones. But the longer I stayed in the anti-fat acceptance community, the further along that spectrum started to become.
You have to think too. Angelica she's talked about she has survivor's guilt. So she has a lot of passion when it comes to this as well. So, yeah.
Like, I remember the first couple times I watched, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, I'll be sure to fucking look out in the comment section on you guys correcting me. Jakira Transformations or Leona. The first couple times I watched her, I was like, this lady's so mean. Now I'm like, she's just telling the fucking truth.
Yeah, I've seen some of her videos too, and I will say she's definitely very blunt. I don't find her to be very, like, cruel, though. Like, she doesn't come to mind when I'm thinking of just straight up cruel reaction channels.
You should have named names.
Most people can't handle the truth, especially myself when I just left the fat acceptance community.
Like, I have never looked at a fat person and thought to myself, damn, you are such a burden on my tax bill.
You hear that, Honey Bison? She's talking about you.
And yeah, so I definitely have seen a few of Honey Bison's videos as well. And again, this video was not directly aimed at her either. I would say she's definitely on the spectrum as Angelica worded it, you know, when it comes to like niceness and meanness, I think she is kind of similar to Shakira, as in she's very blunt and, you know, says things how she views them, which is fair. So yeah, I wouldn't say she is cruel. There are a few videos I've seen of hers where she has mentioned some talking points that I have seen other reaction channels voice, not gonna name them here, Alan Roberts, some things she agrees with that he talks about that I find questionable. But other than that, I don't find her as a creator super offensive. I just, yeah, I guess some of the things she agrees with that other people.
So when it comes to Alan, I understand the criticism of Alan, but I also, he's very, very harsh, but he also has helped people practically in real life a lot. So again, would his methods work for me? No. You know, with that type of personality, I tend to get reactive. I tend to get combative. I don't like it. Maybe it's just a part of my past. You know, I'm a busted millennial bitch. I don't know what to tell you. I do have some past life trauma. I don't respond well to it. When it comes to fight or flight, I'm more of a fight. So if somebody comes at me like that, I come at them back. So it wouldn't work for me. It would just turn into a huge fight. If I were to train with somebody like that, I couldn't stand it. And I can't watch him. I'll be honest, I can't. So I understand it completely. But I also see that he is very helpful and successful at actually helping people in real life. He is a trainer. He has a lot of testimonies. A lot of people are inspired by him. His approach, it really does work for so many people. And I will never take that away. And I wouldn't want him to stop because of that. Because some people need a harsher voice. Some people are just less sensitive. Some people don't have a traumatic past in that sense, or they can handle it or whatever. Or people are affected differently by trauma, I guess. So for me, it's not... For me, I'm just too reactive of a person. So I don't like it personally. But I don't think that it's not valuable. Because by the same token, I think some people are too soft. Like for me, Megan Ann is too soft. So I don't really like that either. So I think it's important to, understand that people can be, for me personally, I'm more in the center of it. So sometimes people can be too harsh for me or too soft for me, but it doesn't mean that I'd ever want them to stop either way, because when it comes to something like this, different people need to hear different voices, and that's so important. So again, just as Alan Roberts has helped people a lot in practical life, Megan Ann has helped a lot of people wake up with her gentle delivery. And that is so important. And I would never want her to stop. Never. So I think that it's important to just keep that perspective, obviously, which you're not in the activist space, Jasmine, so you can totally have your opinion and that's totally fine. But just, I would have named names because then Angelica would have had to defend Alan specifically, more so, which I'd be interested to hear, honestly, Angelica, I'd be interested to hear your take on that. Just because for me personally, I don't completely understand it either, but I don't understand either side of the spectrum that much. Because for me, I'm like, I feel like nothing's happening here. And then for Alan, it's like, I feel like it's too harsh. You know what I mean? So I need a little something. I need the middle, I guess, which I feel like the people that I do watch, they're more towards the middle in general. So
people talk about, I don't agree with. But everyone has their opinions and things they agree and disagree with.
Kidding. I think Alan Roberts says that too, but it's like, it's just a fact. Like, we have 135,000 reasons why it is bad to be fat.
And I get that. I do understand why people view being fat as bad, and there are negative implications that come with being fat. Obviously, I am someone who has been trying to like be less fat for the past 2 years, and honestly for like most of my life I've been trying to not be so fat, trying to lose weight, and so I get it, I do. But I also feel like there's a right and a wrong way to say these things on the internet.
If you live in America, tax dollars...
I think the big thing is just what works or what doesn't work. And I think that that's important. And I feel like for me, my channel works for that very specific niche of people that have struggled with the TR, the toxic ritualistic world, that are over it, that don't want to be in it anymore, or people that want to be made aware of it. And that is typically what I have really put my effort into. It also, I think my channel has also helped give people closure that have struggled with it. So it is very niche. It's more rare. That's not as common. Jasmine has stated that she's had issues. So I do think Jasmine might be in that category where she's leaving that, or she is, she said she was never formally diagnosed, but she struggled with hinges and stuff. So I really understand that. And I understand the sensitivity around these issues. And I understand, I've always said I don't agree with shaming, but if somebody's just obese and they just don't really have that issue, it can be really helpful to be harsh. But for a lot of people, it's not helpful. Because if you're shaming, it can actually reinforce the problem, which I think Jasmine is more on that side of things, which I agree with more so. So while I do find some of Angelica's comments, like about people being humongous, funny, because I do, I think Angelica's delivery is funny. I personally wouldn't do it. But I do think that I don't think that what Angelica does is harmful. It's just something I wouldn't do on this channel. I tend not to talk about appearance at all, or tend to talk about it very limitedly. I have started to talk about it a bit when I've entered the Vanity era, but it's just, it needs to be discussed because people care about that. And I'm trying to learn and teach how to view something like vanity weight when you have recovered from the toxic ritualistic, because I do think that people have to have a balanced perspective. And I really advocate to set your own standard and that kind of stuff. It keeps you more grounded for that type of person, because I don't think that we should be banned from normal aspects of life just because we suffered with hinge. I think the idea is to have a full recovery. And to do that, you have to heal your relationship to the idea of vanity weight eventually. I think that that's advanced. Or you have to heal your ego, and understand it. And so, yeah, let's continue.
Is one of those reasons.
But specifically on the tax thing, though, what I will say about taxes is I do feel that that whole argument is bizarre, because our government wastes our tax dollars on so much bullshit that we have zero control over. So to get hyperfixated on something like a fat person using up more tax resources is, I just think it's laughable. I do. I think it's laughable. I think it is a really nearsighted view of the situation here in America, and it's really not looking at things from like a wider perspective.
And I don't really think people...
Yeah, which that kind of stuff, that's just like political opinion. I don't really comment on that on this channel.
individualize it. Like they're not just like that
So this
exact
little
person is
screenshot
like,
she put up, it says, Researchers have identified both direct and indirect economic costs associated with obesity. Direct costs come from treating obesity and its associated comorbidities. These include hypertension, type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, certain cancers, asthma, and over 200 others. As obesity rates continue to rise, so will the direct medical spending on the diagnosis and treatment of these conditions. It is estimated that the annual medical cost of obesity was nearly $173 billion in 2019. Okay, that was a while back, while medical costs were found to be $1,861 higher for those with obesity compared to patients at a normal weight. These costs increase with severity of obesity. The indirect costs of obesity on the economy are harder to measure accurately. Productivity costs constitute the major indirect costs associated with the disease. Productivity costs include absenteeism, employees missing work due to obesity-related health reasons, and presenteeism, decreased productivity while at work, as well as premature mortality, loss of quality adjusted life years, and higher rates of disability benefits payments. I don't know that I agree with that second part of the paragraph. A lot of that seems, I don't know, I would like to see the source for wherever she pulled this.
Yeah, so when it comes to that kind of stuff, all I will say is that the individual cost is definitely there. I will talk more about the individual side of it because, again, I don't really get into the political discussion. I think people can have different opinions on it. Somebody can care about their tax dollars being spent on that. Somebody cannot care about it. You know, I don't think anybody's a better or worse person because of their opinion on that. So that's just my opinion. And so I don't talk about it because, again, people have different beliefs and that's not what this channel is about. But when it comes to the individual cost, I will bring it up. It costs more for food. Absolutely. It costs more for you personally, medically. It costs more for clothes. It costs more to fly, especially if you have to buy 2 seats. Everything costs more when you are super morbidly obese on a personal level. And that is all work and effort and money that you are wasting. Every dollar spent on excess food is a dollar thrown in the trash because food does not last forever. It's a moment in time. It's not the best investment. You just want to have it go along with you in your journey. You know, you don't want to like waste tons and tons and tons of money, especially if you're getting into DoorDash and all that stuff. Then it gets so expensive. And there's so much money wasted on a personal level. People get into debt over it. People are they become so poor because of their choices in regard to overeating. And it does reduce your overall quality of life. And then you can set yourself up to where all you have is the toxic ritualistic because you don't have any money, because you spent it on everything else. So that is really, really important to consider too. So we know the personal costs of obesity. We all know that. So that's what I will say, is that you are wasting your money. And you can be like, well, why does somebody have to say that to me? Because it's a way to show that it is bad for you. That's the whole point of the channel. It's anti-fat acceptance activism, which basically means I am arguing against the idea of accepting fatness, period. So I will bring up any and all things to point out how it is bad to be fat, because it is. And I will reinforce that idea on this channel, period.
Because,
the reason why our taxes are so high in America. It's kind of like a general consensus because a lot of tax dollars from American citizens goes to paying obesity-related medical bills.
Like, who thinks like that? Apparently,
Obesity is wasteful, period.
Quite a few people on the internet do. And it's usually these like morally righteous individuals who have either lost weight and are now fitness trainers.
I don't feel like there are a lot of morally righteous people in the anti-fat acceptance community. I think a lot of us understand that we all share different opinions, but we are more alike than different. I don't think that anyone, at least that I know of or follow in the anti-fat acceptance community, I don't think that anyone acts holier than thou, because every single person, at least that I've watched in this community, has been in the same position as people in the fat acceptance community, or overweight, So they understand like the mindset and the struggles that come with it.
Righteous individuals who have either lost weight and are now fitness trainers, or they've never been fat their whole lives and they're fitness trainers who just have these nasty ideas about fat people. And to those,
every single person that I can think of that is in the anti-fat acceptance community online, or at least on YouTube, because I participate in that more on YouTube than other platforms. Every creator that I know of that I watch has had some sort of disordered relationship with food and eating and body image issues. Like, and a lot of them have had let me censor myself so I don't get in trouble. Honey Bison, Graphically Alex, Alan Roberts have all talked about how they've had problems with hinging, and obviously all of them have lost weight. Myself, same at every size, Megan Ann.
You have to be, when you've struggled with Hinge, you have to be pretty harsh with it because you have to break it. And again, some people will be more harsh than others. I think like there's a little mini spectrum with those three that she mentioned. I think Honey Bison, she really goes for the coldly logical, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying like it's not bad that it's coldly logical at all. I don't know. That just comes across as people have a lot of connotations when you say cold. But I would say coldly logical, balanced. It's probably the better way of saying it, emotionally balanced way of talking about it. But she still will cut through it. You cannot affirm it, ever. You cannot. I'm more in between. So I'll say it to you in a softer voice, or it's a higher pitched voice even, which that can be a difference too, or a soothing voice people have said. But I'll also be a bitch too when I have to be, because I understand the emotional pitch of it so well. I'm such a feeler. I'm very emotional. So I attack it very emotionally, which people are very uncomfortable with, by the way. People really have issues with emotions these days. Sorry, that was just me complaining. But I fight it emotionally. So, and emotions include fear, anger, sadness, happiness, all of it. Everything I talk about on my channel is dealing with this issue emotionally, which I feel like it is not covered. But again, while there are people who are soft, like Sam at Every Size or Megan Ann, soft emotions are not the only emotions that exist. There's also harsh emotions like rage, anger, sadness, depression, desolateness, even a lack of feeling like anhedonia I've been talking about on the channel recently. So there are ugly feelings too, or feelings that people are uncomfortable with. I will talk about those when it comes to this issue. And then you have Alan Roberts, where he's very, very brute force, very harsh, deeper voice, still able to engage emotionally, but it's more so like, I'm going to grab you and shake you out of it style, which can work for a lot of people. It doesn't work for everybody. Again, it wouldn't have worked for me because I would have felt like he didn't understand me emotionally, which that matters, but it is what it is. It still works for a lot of people because some people even people that are emotional, they will listen to him and he will resonate because he is emotional as well. He's just more aggressive with it, which is fine because it works for a lot of people. Like I said, I go all throughout that spectrum, but he's just very like on the harsh side of it. So that can work too, depending on the person. But that's kind of like a shade of the three of us. And it's important because I will resonate with some, Alan will resonate with others, and Honey Bison will resonate with others too. And they all work. So that's why we're doing that. It's rare to have people that have recovered. I do think Alan has recovered for the most part. I don't know if he believes his own recovery sometimes. I feel like he's so scared of going back into it, which I don't love that for him. Like, I wish he would not be there because I think you have to get over that. But overall, at least in terms of the behaviors, I feel like he has recovered. Absolutely. Even if the mindset isn't 100% there, in my opinion, he is totally like not in it His behaviors are not there at all. I think he's just paranoid about going back, which I totally understand. It's awful, but you don't have to fear going back once you're out. Like, you're not. And he hasn't. So, anyways, that's something that I'll be fighting a lot next year, which people get really mad because they want to have a relationship with this issue where they want to keep fearing it forever. I advocate just have the anhedonia and just be bored out of your mind and don't have it. Because if you just kill it completely, then you don't. It's just gone. Literally. Anyways, that's just something I'll be getting into next year.
And we were all in the fat acceptance community and obviously left and have started weight loss journeys. Actually, Sam at Every Size just talked about how she got one of the gastric surgeries. And then Megan Ann just started a GLP-1.
Yeah.
So
very happy for both of them. I was so happy to hear Sam at Every Size is doing so well. And I think that was a huge moment when she revealed that to the community. I'm so happy for her, honestly.
it's like people in this community are speaking from personal experience.
And I
think
get that, and I'm going to stop here. I get that. I will say that channels like Megan Ann and Sam at Every Size, I feel like they're definitely on the like nicer side of the spectrum, but I honestly respect those types of channels more because I feel like while they are able to address, you know, topics and issues that arise from the fat acceptance side of the internet, they're able to do it in a way that is factual but also like respectful and doesn't solely rely on just calling people names and criticizing their physical appearance. Like when they bring up issues they have with the fat acceptance content creators and activists and all that, it's based on things that are said and actions that are done and things that are actually wrong. It's not just based on, oh, you're a fat lol cow who, you know, just looks disgusting, so I'm going to tear you down on the internet because I hate fat people.
that's what makes the anti-fat acceptance community.
Yeah, I understand that, but I also think that it doesn't work for everybody. That's the problem. Some people, it's too soft to even be engaging. They may not even watch, honestly. So I think that that's a problem too. Sometimes things can be too soft for some people, and if they don't watch, they still need help. So they'll go to Alan Roberts instead, you see? So it's hard. I understand the criticism, and by all means, you have every right to not like someone like him. I don't watch him either, you know, but like I said, I don't watch anything too far on the spectrums. I just don't. I like to be more in the center because that's just where I live, and that's what I like, you know, which is fine. So I certainly, I've been very inspired by Sam at Every Size to talk about this. She's one of the channels I was watching before I started. So I'll always respect her for that. I liked Sam at Every Size's approach because she's very, very, very logical. And she brings up research and she does all those things. I think that's so valuable. But again, I think everybody's valuable. I don't want to take away from anybody. I've watched tons of Michelle McDaniel throughout the years. She's the one that finally got me to believe I have to count. And she was championing that forever, and I never wanted to listen to her. I think I literally didn't want to hear her for like 5 years. And she said it for so many years, and I just resisted. Or not 5 years, like 2 years, I guess. And it was through the years of her saying it, and then my friend Lisa said it too. And I was like, fine, I'll fucking do it. But a lot of that was Michelle too. So again, gotta have respect. You know, she really pushed that point, and it does work. And she's the one that could get me to see it, you know. She was interesting enough. She was funny enough. She did enough. You know, I like the costumes and all that stuff, you know. I don't watch as many people these days just because I do it myself, and I am like insane. I don't know why I post so much, but I do. I'm crazy. I think it's gay to say, but it's my Scorpio and my Virgo side. They're just both very obsessive and like neurotic. And so I have Scorpio rising, Jupiter Virgo. I don't know. I'm just a poster. I post. And the combination of the two, it's like extreme neurotic. I mean, you could see how I had the TR. Had those two things going on, you know. It's a lot. It's a lot for my astro girly pops and boily pops. That's a lot. If you got Virgo and Scorpio in you, definitely would put you at risk, in my opinion, for the TR.
It's so powerful is that we were once in the positions of like the people that we talk about. Or Shakira transformations, she used to struggle with Mia. I don't know if you guys can hear my bells, but every time I had like a ring. So it's like we know what we're talking about. Or some people have just been overweight, like my friend Sunny Side Up Gal, and I think Cynical Dude. I don't know if he's ever had like a diagnosed ED, but he has lost his.
I watched so much of Cynical Dude too before I started, which he is again kind of more in the center, in my opinion. You know, him and like Michelle McDaniel, they're kind of similar, but you can see where I am on that spectrum. So obviously when I got up to do it, I went to the center. Basically, I went pretty much dead center. I do think Michelle is a little bit harsher. She's a little bit on the harsher side. In my opinion, Cynical Dude, he's a little bit on the gentle side. You know, I remember when, when William like attacked Cynical Dude, he was so gentle with him. If William ever did that, William Hornby, if he ever came after me, I would be so fucking vicious. You don't even know. Like, which that's probably why he won't, because he knows I would. But I've talked about him a lot. Like, I wouldn't even blame him if he, like, really went after me because I've been such a bitch to William. But it's like, if he ever did, oh my God, I would eviscerate him. So, I'm just saying, I'm not that nice. I think he's definitely more on the nicer side. So, I'm just saying, though, they tend to be more towards the center. But, you know, it's because of creators like them that I'm here today. You know, and yeah, so just saying. Also, Funty Times, I watched her a lot in 2021 and 2022. It's that creator too, but she kind of stopped for a long time. I really watched her a lot. She was very interesting. And Nadia Nymph as well. Shout out. Not that they need my shout outs, but I just want them to know that you guys helped inspire my channel. So really those few channels are what helped inspire me. So Sam at Every Size, Funty Times, Michelle McDaniel, Cynical Dude, and Nadia Nymph. Nadia Nymph was like a major one in 2021. I was like blown away by Nadia Nymph. So just saying. I appreciate y'all.
Significant amount of weight too. We are more similar to the people in the fat acceptance community than they would like to believe. It's just that all of us over here in the anti-fat acceptance community have decided to take accountability for our actions and do something about our bad eating habits.
And that's great. And I 100% agree with that. I myself have decided to take accountability for my actions and work on my weight loss. And it's wonderful. But I also feel like, you know, that was my decision to make, just like it was y'all's decision to make, and just like it's anyone else's decision to make. And so, I don't know, in a way, just because someone's not making that decision, or if someone wants to make that decision but is having a hard time and kind of struggling and, you know, maybe yo-yo dieting or whatever, I don't feel like that is a reason to criticize them and be rude and ugly on the internet.
So I understand the not being ugly aspect, but I think there is a reason to criticize. Absolutely. So especially within an activistic sense. So where I don't think Jasmine is looking at is the fact that fat activism, it is activism. So they are pushing a message onto the general public and onto other people. So when we attack that, we have to also attack them to a certain extent because they are pushing a message onto the public. We have to also push a message because we don't live in a world where nobody says anything about this issue to anybody. That doesn't exist and it never will. So if you're an activist, which Jasmine is not, which is fine, you do not have to be an activist. Although if you wanted to become one, I would totally support you. Put it to you that way. In fact, I should subscribe in general, and I'm going to right now. Just because I do support your journey, period. But when it comes to activism, it is rhetorical and stuff, and we do have to push back, literally push back. So you do have to say something. You do have to criticize. You do have to talk about it. That is activism in general. That's how anything gets done, basically. That's how anything changes. Again, you can agree or disagree with somebody's activism, but you're not entitled to it in the sense that you can't tell somebody what to advocate for or how to. And you also, in my opinion at least, or at least within the United States, you cannot silence them. So even if you don't like what they say, even if I don't like Aubrey Gordon, I can't silence her. I have to argue against her, which that's just how things are. And I do agree with that. I am a freedom of speech girly pop. So I think we do have to fight the ideas because, especially within fat acceptance, there's such a toxic ritualistic foundation to it that even if they aren't an activist, they're still going to push this stuff. There's a lot of people that deal with reinforcement of these issues on them in their personal lives, even if their family members or their friends or whatever are not activists. They still will say something like, you're addicted to counting calories. What is that meant to do? It's meant to get you to stop. Why? So that you will regain everything. That's why. They won't be happy unless if you do. Which, that's an emotional truth that I call out on this channel that most people won't. That's where I come in, is I will talk about that because I need y'all to know. People are going to do that. So you got to have boundaries. Get me? Okay, honestly, I'm really enjoying this. I think I'm going to continue this. So I'm just going to go through the rest and I'm going to just post this probably the rest of the week. But that's enough for today. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys who are here like at Christmas, you guys are like the ultimate troopers. You guys are amazing. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.